I was intrigued the moment Philippe Boulez, president of the prestigious French trimmings company, approached me to be the first designer to create a collection for them. The initial task was to create 6 to 9 braids. In the end, there are 77 trims in total. When Philippe asked me about my inspiration, immediately I replied, the Villa Carrillos. Back in the States, I'm excited to have the entire collection in my New Jersey studio. Once a derelict factory building, the studio rooms are laid out like a classical house. 20-foot ceilings and massive windows add to the drama that entices clients as they first walk into the space. I want to show you the book that my mother gave me, Great Villas of the Riviera. And in this book, I discovered the Villa Carrillos, which had a very profound effect on my point of view on design. Susanna, remember I was telling you about a box that inspired me for the collection?
From your grandfather.
Exactly, exactly. So this box, which is from Italy, actually, for me, has always felt so modern. And yet, knowing that, you know, my grandfather had it since the 1960s, it was just...
This is literally a box from the 1960s? Because
Yes.
this looks like something that you would have created maybe last year. It's got such a modern feel to it.
Absolutely. You know, it's a part of my grandfather from so many years ago, and yet it has such a modern appeal.
And that's very much what this collection is about, the way, because I'm seeing already, these are your
Yes.
from your collection.
Yes, indeed.
Look how the direct correlation of the antiquity, but then the modernization of that inspiration with your trim, which I know you're a trim fanatic.
Completely a trim fanatic.
How many did you create? This is all from the collection? I just have to play with them because it's so much fun.
There is a total of 15 trims, and they range between 4 and 6 colorways. So we have about 77 pieces in total. And for me, the collection really was inspired by the Villa Carrillos. The motifs throughout the villa are so remarkable because they feel modern in many different ways. And so when you explore the villa, you just take away moments and moments and moments.
It's the gift that keeps giving.
Truly.
It continually inspires you.
Truly.
Talk to me for a second about the endless possibilities of how creative you got with trim. A lot of people just think slap trim on the edge of a curtain.
Yes.
And it does look fabulous. I saw it here when I walked in. But there was very inventive ways. Sometimes you combine the trims.
Yes, indeed. And you know, for me, when you think about trim historically has been used in a almost embellished way. For me, it's a way to create a sense of pattern. So if you're using solid fabrics, you sort of all of a sudden have a design.
Yes, and for some people that may not want a lot of pattern, they can have their basic velvet, but then they can add that layer just in a very thoughtful yet distinct graphic way with the trim. I just never would have thought to put trim on a pillow.
So here we've actually used it on both sides of the pillow. So again, when I was speaking about pattern,
right,
you can actually see how the pattern actually is able to repeat itself. And even though the miters don't necessarily match up, with a good seamstress, you can do something very
And who cares? I
creative.
like the imperfection of it. So interesting that you made the trim the pattern.
Exactly.
And the pattern or the solid actually is less of the moment. The trim is the star here.
Exactly. Susanna, welcome to the sample library.
Michael, I would hire you just on your sample library. This is incredible. It's so serene and beautiful. And
the table is incredible, I know. It's peristyle in form, which is very reminiscent of Villa Carrillos, and is the reason really why I brought it here, and I wanted to create the essence of Villa Carrillos in this room.
It's kind of, again, the framework for the whole spirit of your design studio and this collection.
Exactly, and this is actually the box that we were speaking of, the collection box.
So beautiful.
And you can see here all of the trims are represented. There's 15 of them in total. Again, between 4 to 6 colorways. And we also have the beautiful collection book, which is the story and a glossary and all of our beautiful photography.
And pictures of you in the villa. How many times have you been there? You went there after you saw it in the book.
I went there after seeing it in the book.
Right.
We were in the south of France and immediately discovered we were like 10 minutes away from Villa Carrillos. And so we said, okay, drop the bags and get in the car, drive there.
You didn't even know how close you were. And
No.
look how it informed the rest of your life.
It was incredible. While creating the collection, I sort of did a return visit to photojournal and capture and sort of help create a lot of the
starting point, the launching
assets.
point.
Yes.
So this is where you dream and scheme with clients, correct? I mean, this is like these mood boards from heaven.
It is. So we have two studios. One is more architecture, one is more interiors.
Mm-hmm.
So here, a lot of these projects that are pinned up are architecturally based. But then, of course, we do all of the decorating.
And look at, you have some actual samples here too, if they can touch them and see. And
we have an enormous library, and so when clients come for meetings here, it really is a treat for them because, you know, they might see something and love it, or they might say, do you have a different shade of that? And then I can pull five more out. And
instead of, it's not here, we'd have to get in a car and drive 2 hours and go to another showroom. You have, and that's really the key, I think, when you're dreaming with a design expert, to be able to keep going and finishing the thought by seeing the examples, because you want to ride the creative wave, so to speak.
Mm-hmm. Indeed.